Good evening, everybody, and welcome here as the Hersheys Cup Series gets ready for the Mud Summer Classic at Eldora. We're going dirt track racing, and we're going to have, of course, the usual heats to try and get into the main event. This is usually a race that plays a big factor into a points shakeup because a lot of times, a lot of your top runners, they can fail to make the race, and a lot of drivers that are struggling in points that could use this as a springboard to get their season turned around can also miss out on the main event. There are 40 drivers in this field, only 30 are going to get points after the checkered flag waves. Good evening, everybody. I'm Seth Cole, and I'm being joined here in the commentators booth by two fellow co-commentators. One guy who is very familiar here with Eldora. He joined me for the Dirt Car Fall Classic here, which allowed Alexander Rowe to lock himself into the field. Kyle Matthews. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back here at Eldora. It was fun to call that the qualifying race for this thing, and now I'm happy to be in the booth for the main event. This should be fun to watch.
Absolutely, and of course, we also have Mr. DJ Curtis in the booth here. DJ, I mean, obviously, you're a former driver in the Hersheys Cup Series. I mean, what do you think these drivers are feeling right now?
I think a lot of them, knowing the heats, depending on how many cars will transfer in, they're going to be very aggressive here. Some that are up front, they're going to actually try and keep their car rather clean, but those starting in the back, they're going to have to march their way up to the front. And track position is key here at Eldora. With only 10 laps in, looks like in these heats, they're definitely going to have to get a move on ASAP.
And we saw how aggressive everybody was in the dirt late model qualifying race just to get into the main event. You know, I can't imagine how aggressive they're going to be in this race, in all these heat races and the main event.
No doubt about it. We've got what are going to be a total of 4 heat races. There'll be 10 drivers in each heat race. And in those heat races, the top 5 will be transferring into the main event. The 5 that do not make it, they will go into the LCQ, which will give us 20 drivers in the LCQ battling for the final 10 spots in the main event. So yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy, and much like we ended up having in the Dirt Car Fall Classic, the 10 lap heats that we're about to be seeing, they will run caution free. So if you spin out, if you wreck, there's no second chances. You just got to hope that everybody else up ahead of you, if you're running outside the top 5, that you'll be able to work your way into the top 5 by time your heat ends. Let's get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And we don't have any little starting grid for you or anything, but you'll notice on the bottom of your screen, it's going to show you the drivers, the 10 drivers in each heat that are competing for each heat to try and make it into the main event. So as you can see, we've got Trent Dunham, Joshua Michaels, JT Bryant, Brandon Gonzalez, Nathan Hudson, Alex Drayden, Matt Haas, Caleb Farrell, Levi McIntyre, and Kyle Matthews. And right here, out of these drivers in this group, 2 drivers have been to victory, or make that 1 driver rather, has been to victory lane in Alex Drayden. So how important is it for him to make it into the main event?
Well, he's got to win this season, so you know he'd like to back that up and prove that it was no fluke and make it into the main event. I'm sure he's feeling some pressure because you would hate to win early on in the season but end up missing out on this race.
Green flag out, and oh, there we go. Kyle, it's shades of the
Already
dirt car
coming.
race.
I know it. This is boy, oh boy, this is gonna be crazy if it's gonna be just like that.
That was Brandon Gonzalez,
It's already a
Caleb
rocky start
Farrell,
there.
Matt Haas. There was another car back there as well. As looks like Joshua Michaels going to get out in front to a very early lead, and looks like the same issue they're having here tonight that they had in that Dirt Car Fall Classic, Kyle, where the grip is not there. They're sliding up into that wall.
Grip is definitely not there, and if nobody's gonna be safe again, no matter where you're running, if this keeps up.
Alex Drayden going to move by Levi McIntyre.
They're going to give each other room.
No, I think I agree with you. I mean, these drivers, they know that, especially if you're looking at this group right here, you got Nathan Hudson in 4th, JT Bryant in 5th. Any little slip up, and they're outside the top 5, and they got to try and work on the LCQ.
JT Bryant slipped up, got into the 29. Keeps it together though.
Right there, you got Kyle Matthews in 6th, so he's hoping that somebody up ahead of him encounters problems, and it could have very well been Levi McIntyre right there.
Yeah, what a save there from the 99. Great car control from there, but you see so many cars slapping that wall and all over the racetrack. I think Eldora is not really the best track for some of these drivers here, obviously. Really kind of showcasing the talent, those using that inside group, because Levi McIntyre trying to get around the 77.
Oh, no!
And around goes the 99.
Drayden and McIntyre, and just like that, they're, well, Now they are. Now they're both out of the top 5. Brandon Gonzalez just moved by for 5th, and he was spinning on the first lap.
That's a tough break for Levi McIntyre, another Ohio native. You know, he'd like to be in this. He'd like to make the main event in his home state.
Absolutely. As right now it would be Michaels, Hudson, I believe, Bryant, Matthews, and Gonzalez who would transfer, and there's only a little less than 3 laps, or a little less than 4 laps to go, I should say, in this heat.
These guys it's like the field's a little bit spread out here, so that's should be good news for a lot of these drivers, unless they catch the tail end of the field.
This would be the big battle right here because Brandon Gonzalez is in 5th. Alex Drayden right behind him wants to get that 5th position. So this is basically for the final transfer spot in this heat to get into the main event. Should also mention too, Brandon Gonzalez comes into this race winless, obviously. Of course, we've documented his over 100 race winless streak going all the way back to season 2, but he comes into this race as the points leader, so obviously making the main event would be very important for the 23.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like the 77 might be closing again. I mean, boy, I'm having flashbacks to the inaugural Camping World Truck Series race in the LCQ with Norm Benning and
Clay Greenfield.
He was battling, Clay Greenfield. That epic battle they had in the LCQ to get into the field.
Well, this is the white flag, I believe, that was just displayed for Brandon Gonzalez and Alex Drayden. Oh, boy!
The rookie trying to dive it in deep into
Can he
turn
keep
3.
it to the
He's
inside?
Dive in really hard. The 23 in the wall. 77 sliding
He's
up.
going to squeeze him. And wow, nicely done. Man.
Overtake.
Alex Drayden, that will get him into the main event. Kyle Matthews, JT Bryant, Nathan Hudson, and our first heat race winner, Joshua Michaels. They all are going to be worry-free. They will be battling at least for the win in the main event race.
You know, I'm trying really hard to be unbiased here, but at least I can have a sigh of relief.
How did you get on track and commentate at the same time? How does that work? You literally driving as you go?
There's
you can't look at the camera while you're driving.
He's a wizard.
I have a clone, and we only let him out to race, and then after that we just keep him locked up.
You keep him locked up in a
robot
box.
Are actually like a Siamese twin.
There are 2 of you, Kyle. Lord help us all. Anyways, we get ready for heat number 2 here.
That's a scary thought.
Get ready for heat 2. As you can see, the field down there that's taking part in this, and one car in particular that you may notice is different from one that you've seen on track. That number 8. That's Alexander Rowe, who Kyle we saw win that Dirt Car Fall Classic. He's got a chance here to be able to make his way into the main event, which would actually be his first Hersheys Cup Series start of his career, and they're already wrecking at the front.
What a mess.
Just like the very first heat race. So the front row takes each other out, opens the door for everybody else.
Quentin Moore and John Art, and I mean, we said this back at the dirt car race. It's the restart, everyone's bunched up. That's when everybody tries making the moves for track position, and usually that's the result.
Doesn't look like there's much grip on the racetrack there. You see Sean Galligan kind of struggling with that outside groove, and look who's on the inside. That looks like car number 18 there of Cole Baker. Looking low slide job there. They both spin.
And that's teammates, both of whom have been to victory lane this season. Baker at Atlanta, Galligan at Rio de Janeiro. I'm kind of surprised
teammates taking each other out. That can't make for a pleasant team meeting later on in the week if both neither of them make this main event.
Well, the thing I don't understand either is both of them have a win in the bank. Why would they race each other that hard? Because, yeah, a win and you're in situation, but you got to make sure you're in the top 30 in the points by the time the end of the regular season comes around as well. You would think the teammates would be like, hey, we both got a win. Let's try and both make it into the main event at least here. But nope, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Trouble back there.
Dylan Young and
John Arnott. He's rolling down the backstretch there. Massive impact for John Arnott.
I think that was that Baker? I think it was Baker in the 18.
It was.
Oh
Heavy
my.
damage.
Lot of damage on his car, and boy, John Art, well, you knew it was a matter of time before someone was going to flip.
Yeah, Seth, we saw that a couple of times in the dirt car race, and we've already got our first victim in this one.
My goodness. So that's going to be a couple of drivers I think we can safely say are going to be going to the LCQ. John Art and Cole Baker. Don't know how bad the damage was on the two of Dylan Young. Is Daniel Gilbert out in front right now there in the 4 car. And, of course, he one of 3 entries out of Michael Norman Motorsports, a team that is still looking for their first win since Season 3 when team owner Michael Norman went to victory lane. James McLeod, there's another driver that's got a 0 in the win column so far this season. Started his first full-time season last year. 2 wins made the chase. And right behind him, the runner-up for the championship last season, Blaine Keys in the 42. And you can already see Cole Baker and John Art out of the race in 9th and 10th. So obviously they will not be moving on to the main event, at least through this heat. They'll have to wait for the LCQ.
There's a lot of damage on the 8 car. He's fallen a lap down, our qualifier winner to get in here. So looks like he's going to go through the LCQ once again.
Yeah, it looks like you saw earlier in that footage in turn 1 there. James McLeod actually looks like he might have hit a bump in turn 1. That gave an opportunity for Blaine Keys to actually pass the 51 with ease there. But we got to look at the leaderboard to see whether there are updates or not. But look how many cars are remaining on the track. Only 8 cars, but 7 on the lead lap. So this really gives a shot for only 2 other drivers to look in
I'm
to that
impressed
transfer
with this
spot.
car right here. I'm impressed with the car we just saw there. Dylan Young, we saw him get involved in an accident, but he was able to fight his way back up into that transfer spot. He's going to make it to the main event.
Yes, he is. I thought we might actually see a battle between him and Garrett Sidner for that final transfer spot, but no, Dylan Young kept a good distance on the 38, so he's going to make it in, along with Quentin Moore, who spun out while in the lead at the very start of the race. He's going to make it in 4th, and McLeod, Blaine Keys, and the race winner for this heat, Daniel Gilbert. They will all represent in the main event.
So nice recovery by a couple of drivers there to make their way into the main event. It's like if you're going to run into trouble, it's just when are you going to run into trouble, and how much trouble is it?
So now as these drivers prepare themselves either for the main event or for the LCQ, I mean, you know, we got some interesting names there that have failed to make it in that last one. Galligan, Cole Baker, obviously we mentioned John Arndt as we get ready here for our 3rd of 4 heats. And in this group, one driver that kind of stands out to me is the guy we're looking at right there, Kev Shearer. The last, I believe it's 4 races, he has had Rookie of the Race win. So he's really been good. And they're 4 wide.
Oh god, this is not going to work out.
That's not going to work anymore.
Wow.
Speaking of Shearer on his side,
down.
up and
Oh,
over,
you got
and
another plow there. It looks like the 61 of Anthony McCurry might have just slammed into the side of somebody there.
Another rookie there, Cody Smart involved, and it looks like McCurry's car has come to a stop, and I believe Zachary Fitzwater also got involved in that, and Fitzwater, I believe, comes into this race 3rd in the point standings, so obviously he's looking for a good points run. Yeah.
That's got to be at least half the field that was caught up in something already, so we might already have our top 5 advancing.
We had Alex Drayden just barely get the 5th position in the first heat to transfer into the main event. James McLeod finished top 5 in the last heat, so he's into the main event. And right here we're looking at the 3rd entry out of Tweenix Racing, Dylan Poteet out in front. So right now it looks like the odds are in favor of all 3 Tweenix cars making the main event. Looking there at James Richardson in 3rd place, our winner from Infineon, and then Cody Lamas and Brooke Allen right now the top 5. And you're right, Kyle, I mean, it's about 4 seconds back from Brooke Allen to Cody Smart to battle for that 5th position.
So everybody here, they just got to be smart, hit their marks, and, they'll be home free. But then again, we got the 25 all over the 31 of Dylan Poteet, and if they get the racing for the lead, and take each other out, that could open the door for some of these other guys back here.
I think Benjamin Miles would definitely be would be willing to take the risk. He was the one that made that 4 wide move all the way down the inside not long ago.
Yeah, it worked for him. It didn't work for the other 3 there.
Nope,
and Miles
it didn't.
did take the lead there. Great overtake from the 25 there. Perfect dirt track racing. And Poteet now on the charge. They're trying to take advantage of the 25 hitting the wall, and he's down the inside.
Now the thing these guys got to do is not wreck each other.
Didn't
Yikes.
quite clear him. They were both in the wall. They keep it going. Nice job by both of them. I thought they were both gone.
But now as these two are battling each other and making contact, that 11 Toyota of James Richardson is starting to loom there in 3rd place. It could be a 3-way fight for the win in this heat. Also should mention as well, as far as points go, there are no stages in the main event, and there actually is only one playoff point on the line as well. And that's to the winner of the main event of this Eldora Mud Summer Classic. So while these drivers are battling to get into the heats, this battle for the race lead doesn't have anything to do with championship points. Benjamin
It
Miles.
does look like Benjamin Miles is pulling that gap away from Dylan Poteet. So even with 2 laps to go and coming to the white flag, I think Miles has got this unless he skews up badly. But, I mean, it's not really going to matter. As long as he advances, that's pretty much the main priority for this 25 team, as with those in the top 5. As you see, the white flag is out. Benjamin Miles is still your leader. Poteet really not able to do anything from that 25 car. That Napa Auto Parts machine, pretty strong.
I mean, I know these guys want to race aggressive. They want to, pass the car in front of them. I mean, that's just instinctual as a race driver, as Benjamin Miles is going to win the heat. But, I mean, in order to even have a shot at winning, you first got to make the main event. So you got to think smart, at least here in these heat races. So it'll be Miles, Poteet, Richardson, Lamas, and Brooke Allen all making it in. And like you said, Kyle, that was almost predetermined back around lap 2.
Yeah, these guys all caught a break. They were able to avoid that big melee, and it looked like it was a pretty easy run for these guys, at least in this 10-lap heat.
Only other driver that really was in contention, maybe, of getting in was Cody Smart. We saw he had a lot of damage after getting involved in that wreck that happened after they went 4 wide. So Smart, Johnny Gardner, Fitzwater, McCreary, and Kev Shearer, they will all have to rely on the LCQ. So we've got 15 drivers that are in the LCQ. Now we're going to have to determine who the other 5 are that are going to join them and who the other 5 are that are going to be locked into the main event. And in this field, if you take a good look there in the middle of the grid, there is the number 83 of Emmanuel Hartnett, who won the inaugural Mud Summer Classic here in the Hersheys Cup Series. So we'll see if he can make the main event, as the former champion and of Chris Dodd is going to lead us for the green over Charles Sanford.
Well, the top 2 actually got off to a good start that time. I think in all the other races we've seen so far, the top 2 have taken each other out. Chris Dodd, Charles Sanford did a nice job of getting going, incident-free for the time being.
Oh, trouble! Ooh. That was Hartnett around. Hartnett spinning around off the nose of, I guess it was Jessica Shelton, but keeps it going and not really any damage on his car. And look at this battle for the lead, and Sanford spins.
Sanford and Dodd, as soon as I say, they do a nice job of staying off each other.
You spoke too soon.
And it jinxed that, the classic commentators jinxed there.
And no one's immune from it. Looks like
Keith Batson.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Be interesting to see here too. You got Tim Walsh out in front, and Leon Albright there in third, and we saw Chris Dodd up here as well. One of the former winners here of the Mud Summer Classic as well is not in this field. Caitlin Sang, who was the defending winner last season, but she drove for CJ Racing, and you got 3 of their entries up in this heat. They're the 15, the 08, and the 88.
There you see the number 15, Walsh, diving it in there. They're all against that wall, really high. And we got Trouble Baskinger in the wall there.
It's Baskinger.
Looks like the 14, right?
Yeah.
I recollect, that's Dallas McIntosh.
Jake Baskinger, who has made every Hersheys Cup Series chase so far, all 4 of them. He's 4 for 4, but still looking for his first win of the season. Dallas McIntosh, I believe. Oh, and now Leon Albright. This was a battle for, I think, 3rd place. They saved it, kept it going. Now Alvarez has to hope he doesn't lose momentum. But
so all these guys running into problems. That's going to open the, that's going to allow people like Emmanuel Hartnett, Charles Sanford, Jessica Shelton, and Chris Dodd to get back into this thing. So they're not out of this by any means.
Going back to Dallas McIntosh, his last career win in the Hersheys Cup Series.
Leaders collide there.
Yeah, Tim Walsh just got spun for the lead, and he's going to get hit. Oh, look out! Oh no!
Again.
McIntosh.
A lot of those in the transfer spot out of it. And there you see Hartnett going through there.
And so did Sanford.
Certainly need the transfer spot there, so that's going to help him a lot.
Look at Jessica Shelton and Chris Dodd. I mean, they just barely got by on the outside there.
Hey,
amazing.
It's a dirt track. It's so hard when you spin out to get the car refired and continue on. You lose a ton of momentum. So, when there's a wreck happening, especially a heat race, hey, the moniker never lift definitely holds true. And that actually, I believe, moved Shelton up into the 6th position.
The 5th spot.
Was it the 5th spot?
That might have been the 5th spot there. Remember, car number 70 might have had issues there.
No, I think you're right.
There you see
yeah.
moved her up, so with all of those damaged cars in the way, Keith Batson's just running away with this. Here they come to the white flag. One more lap to go.
That completely changed the top 5. Sanford, Hartnett, and Shelton, they were outside the top 5, and now they have a chance of moving on. Keith Batson, our winner of the Clash earlier on the season at Daytona, trying to look for another trip to victory lane, even though it wouldn't count as far as a points-paying win, and he's going to get it. Alvarez will transfer as well. Sanford, Hartnett, and Shelton all transferring in, and look at some of the names that missed in this one. Chris Dodd, former champion. Jake Baskinger. Kat Tellier was up there battling for 3rd place. And saw what happened to her, Tim Walsh, Dallas McIntosh. There's a lot of big names that so far haven't made the main event that are going to be battling in this LCQ race.
I think that Big Rick, though, was a saving grace for both Emmanuel Harden and Jessica Shelton. Remember, they were way on the transfer spot, and then you saw those recars get involved. That really cost them a shot at making the main show here. So we're going to have to wait and see in these later heats, or even the LCQ, to see what may happen in the future here.
Like I said, I mean, no matter where you're running, I mean, you're not safe. I mean, we saw that in the dirt car race. I mean, I think we saw what happened to James Qualls. He was leading that thing with like 2 or 3 laps to go. He ran into trouble. He didn't advance, and that opened the door for somebody outside, you know, the transfer spot to make it in. So, I mean, you can never count yourself out of this thing. You just got to keep at it.
All right, here we go. Moment of truth. 10 cars will not make the main event. 10 cars will move on in this LCQ, and like I said, could be a huge point shakeup in regards to who might make it and who might not, as Cody Smart gets us underway here. And boy, we saw the intensity level definitely at a high in those heat races. I think we're about to see it hit the roof in this LCQ.
Oh, yes, indeed. And there you see Chris Dodd making contact with the
Oh, he's gonna
spins him around.
He's gonna dump her.
And that's Kat Tellier. And that's really going to cost her a lot of track position here. Lap number 2. Here, the early going. That's certainly an aggressive move from Chris Dodd there. Maybe a bit too ambitious.
She didn't get any damage, though.
Nope, she didn't. And you know, the old moniker, all give, no take. I think it's all take, no give in this one. And now,
not
I think they just
clear.
showcased that indeed, Seth. And that certainly showed. The 23 went up, launched the track in the 8 there. And there
Caleb
you
Farrell
see Kat
involved as
Tellier
well.
actually gains the spots because of that. I think she'll be able to catch up to the rest of those pack of cars there.
yeah, that's the
So
thing.
she might have a shot maybe at the end.
I was just thinking of that, because Kat Tellier back behind all this, plenty of reaction time to avoid if any trouble breaks out ahead of her. She's only got to make the top 10. Could that spin with no damage have been a saving grace for the 70?
It very well could be. You never know. I mean, you know, spun out, didn't get any damage. Yeah, lost a lot of track position, but the way these guys are just all over each other, you know, she could be there to pick up the pieces.
And also 20 laps, as you can see here in this LCQ, so double the opportunity for trouble to break out as opposed to the 10 laps we had in the heat races. And there's a car down there in the apron. I think that was the 61 of McCrory. I don't know what happened to him, but it looks like the former champion is in trouble. And, of course, McCrory, if he doesn't finish this race, if he finishes outside the top 10, that's a lot of points that are not going to be coming his way.
Man,
Oh, man,
McCrory,
you
the
see a lot of
season
cars
one
hitting that
champion
wall.
of this series. I had another record right there. McCrory, like I said, the season 1 champion of the series. Last season's Daytona 500 champion. So it'd be really weird to not see him in the main event, but that could very well happen.
We're watching this battle right here because Tim Walsh now has dropped to the 10th position. This is actually the battle for that final transfer spot between himself and Brandon Gonzalez. They made contact, and look who moved to 10th! Kat Tellier just moved back into the top 10.
What a comeback so far for car number 70. Certainly on the chart. The Aussie racing car looking very good on the radar here.
Ooh,
McIntosh!
McIntosh!
14 spinning around out of 4th.
That was a battle, I think, for the
Actually,
third
it's a battle for
position.
third there,
Yes,
but
it was,
still.
yeah. McIntosh trying
was
to get
still
back in the
impressive.
throttle, and can he stay ahead of the 70 is the question. There's
He's
the
right
70.
there.
Yeah. The 70 is currently in 10th position, so I think everybody's just trying to stay ahead of that purple Lincoln Continental. Jake Baskinger has fought his way up. He got by Kat Tellier for, I think that was 11th, got by Garrett Sidner now. He's now worked his way almost up towards the top 5 as the battle on here for 5th between Galligan and Dunham.
Said how many did you say advance out of the LCQ?
Top 10.
Top 10.
Top 10. Okay, there we go. That's...
Right now you've got, believe that's Chris Dodd in the lead, Cody Smart, Cole
Yep.
Baker, Kev Shearer, Sean Galligan, Trent Dunn. They're all right at the moment in a good position, but we're only halfway through this LCQ, so there's still an opportunity for anything to happen. And this is the battle for the lead right now between Chris Dodd and Cody Smart.
I honestly think they need to
these
really
guys
keep
up
it
here in the
nice
top
and easy.
10,
They're in a
they've
comfortable
gotta-
gap.
Looks like they're going to
They're coming
encounter
towards
traffic.
though. Looks
Yeah.
like car number 8 has had a lot of issues with the car there, so Dunn's certainly trying to get around.
Oh!
And they're already colliding. The 8 spins around and gets hit
Oh, and
by
Cole Baker!
The 8 just in a spiral spins there. And, well, already a bad day for that car, and now it's gone down to worse.
Well, now the question is for Cole Baker, how much damage did he sustain? Is it enough for him to keep going? Looks like he's still going to stay out and keep running because, I mean, he's currently scored, I believe, now he's dropped back to the 4th position. But, I mean, if he can just stay ahead of 10th place, even if he's a little off the pace, I mean, he still could make the main event.
Exactly, as long as that thing's still running, I mean, you got to go for it. Nowadays, right now, you have nothing, really nothing to lose at this point.
Right now, Kat Tellier in that 10th spot. The car trying to chase her down would be Johnny Gardner in 11th place. And, boy, they are still racing hard up here at the front of the field. All these drivers, with, I think, the exception of the 23, having a chance of moving on to the main event. But they're still battling for position. And to your point, DJ, I don't understand why, especially in an LCQ race where it's your last chance, as Levi McIntyre goes around, why you would race this hard.
And Bassinger hits in the 14, does as well.
And there goes Kat Tellier. That opens the door for someone to maybe get into the top 10. Maybe Gardner.
Johnny Gardner, I think. Is he on the lead lap?
I think he is. And McIntyre's coming to pit road.
Ooh, man, you see Gardner sliding the tires up the 14
Oh,
against the wall.
McIntosh. Something happened to McIntosh. And
they're
Kat
still
Tellier's.
crashing.
Tellier
spinning
again.
around.
Our top 10 could look very different here as we're within 5 laps to go. Baskinger's on pit road. McIntosh off the pace. McIntyre is coming to pit lane. Kat Tellier spun. All those drivers were in the top 10 at the time. Look at that. We've got now Gardner up to 8th. 9th place. That is, I believe, Caleb Farrell. And Tim Walsh is now up to 10th.
Wow, I think that was a case of lap cars not really yielding to those on the lead lap, and that's certainly going to bring up some tempers here. I bet you there's going to be a lot of angry drivers after this one.
Garrett Sidner, another driver who was up inside the top 10 on pit road. And there you see Tim Walsh. He's now up in the top 10, and I'm trying to figure out, I think, yeah, Fitzwater also is now in the top 10. There goes Shearer. And that was to try and get into the top 10, I believe. No, he was in second. Kev Shearer was second place.
Kev was second, yeah.
Question is, though, can he recover and stay ahead of the 59, who is 1 lap down right now? So Cody Smart goes to the race lead, and there's the white flag, and there's more trouble just ahead of him. And that involved the 15, who I believe was in one of the transfer positions.
Oh, there's Fitzwater there, not so far behind, but I think those two are pretty much set to go if they just take it easy in the 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, Cody Smart,
Mercifully, they're
the
coming to
rookie,
the
looking
stripe
impressive.
here.
Cody Smart is going to pick up the win here in the LCQ, so he makes it into the main event. Let's see who crosses the line second. It was Galligan. I guess Shearer did cross the line in third, so at least a nice recovery after spinning. Trent Dunham, Cole Baker, Chris Dodd, Johnny Gardner, Caleb Farrell, Tim Walsh, and it looks like Zachary Fitzwater will get the final transfer position into the main event. But my goodness, that was crazy.
It says the 88 of Chris Dodd, it says he retired with a fuel leak, but he's still going to get the 6th position. It looks
Well, at least he crossed the line.
Well, they're definitely going to have to do some repairs to that 88 before the race even starts, so it's going to be quite interesting to see where he might line up there based upon the where he finished in this LCQ.
I don't think there's a car in the field that doesn't need damage fixed.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth there. I mean, geez, I don't think there's not a clean-looking car out there.
And take a look at the rides that are not going to make the main event. Brandon Gonzalez came in the points leader. You got Jake Baskinger, Kat Tellier, Dallas McIntosh, McCrory, Sidner. Tough break for Alexander Rowe, trying to make his first Hersheys Cup Series points-paying start after winning the dirt car race. And Levi McIntyre, Matt Haas, John Arndt. I don't think we even saw Matt Haas or John Arndt really get out of the gate in that LCQ. Didn't know they got involved in something, but another former champion there. As a matter of fact, you've got 2 former champions, McCrory and Matt Haas, the defending champion, not going to be in this main event race.
It's hard to believe right there, but that's just how it works sometimes. You're going to have a lot of big names missing missing a race like this.
And take a look at the failed to qualify for drivers came in points. Most notably, Brandon Gonzalez first in points, Kat Tellier second in points, John Arndt third in points. I mean, I said this was probably going to be a point shakeup race. I didn't expect it to be on this scale.
Yeah, you also notice another notable there is Levi McIntyre. He's 7th in the point standings, so this is going to be really crucial for a lot of those that were high up. They're going to drop a lot of those. And also you notice those that are around the top 30, top 25, 30 range there, and even below also kind of struggling, so it's certainly not a good day to gain some points for them, so it's rather unfortunate.
Talked about the defending champion, Matt Haas, missing. Well, he's in that critical 30th position in points, and you got to be in the top 30 in points to even be eligible for the championship hunt. And, it always seems to happen here in Hersheys Cup Series. You win the championship, the following year you fall into a slump. And, boy, that's definitely been the case for the 78 cars. Keith Batson, we saw him win his heat race. I think it was back in Heat 4. He's going to start in the pole. Joshua Michaels, who won his heat race in Heat 1. That's your front row. So two very strong cars we know on the front row. Good track position for this main event, which will have caution flags count. Caution laps will count in this 50-lap main event. Getting ready to turn them loose. Let's see who might be a new winner here in Season 5.
Looks like Joshua Michaels actually beat Keith Batson to the stripe there, but no harm, no foul as Batson jumps out to the lead.
And of course, Keith Batson winning the Clash earlier on this season. I said at Daytona, well, that was a non-points win. Lincoln, since last season, has got to be at least up to around double digits in second place finishes. They're still looking for their first points-paying win. Could tonight be the night?
Very well could be, as we have two drivers.
Oh, trouble!
And there's already some collisions there at the turn 2, the 25 spinning around, and
get together again.
oh,
Sanford going to get involved as
Sanford.
well, and McLeod
McLeod.
gets a piece of it. Actually, I thought there were cautions
No
on. There are no cautions. Never mind. I was wrong. I thought there were cautions.
it's fine.
As Nathan Hudson now out in front.
Tough break for a lot of those guys right there. Charles Sanford, a notable dirt racer online, thought he'd have try to take some of that success into this race, but has some early problems.
You take a look up here at the
I
front.
think I just saw some more trouble there.
Oh.
It looks like the 25 still struggling on
Benjamin
the track.
Miles.
There's Charles Sanford obviously down on the
Sanford
bottom.
again.
There's already. I think once we see one wreck, we're going to have a multitude of wrecks that we've seen in these heat races and the LCQ itself. So we're going to see where all these drivers will end up at the end, and we're going to see obviously every car with damage, I bet you, at the end of this one.
I think
50 laps is quite a while.
I think the 15 of Tim Walsh is a lap down now as we're looking here at this battle between Cody Lamas and Cody Smart. That's for 5th place. Rubbing doors there between those two. Kind of interesting looking at the top two. We talk about drivers with winless streaks. Well, coming into this race, okay,
Oh,
never
wow.
mind.
Smart not cleared. Dylan Pote gets involved, so does Sean Galligan.
No, Kyle. The 12 was clear for takeoff.
Oh, yeah.
And that's heavy damage to the 08 there. It's crucial for John Alvarez there. That's a lot of front end damage. They're going to have to try and put the hood off of that car, or maybe even retire the car from the race there. That's a lot of front end damage, though.
Well, do they have to? I mean, we saw Cole Baker make it into the main event in the LCQ. He had a lot of front end damage, but he was able to continue, and now Nathan Hudson goes around. That's the leader. Almost shades of James
yeah.
Qualls,
Oh,
JT Bryant,
and JT
Blaine
Bryant.
Keys.
Massive impact.
Boy, and now Tim Walsh going to get a piece.
That car's done definitely, and they're still piling in.
They're still piling in.
Pote getting the 29 there. And it's
Great
just a massive
grief.
mess here of cars just sliding, slamming into each other. It's a demo derby here at Eldora.
It's so hard to figure out now who's on the lead lap, who's a lap down. You got to just basically, I guess, rely on the scoring monitor, and now Blaine Keys in trouble again there in 4. He had some contact with Quentin Moore, and look at Keith Batson just tiptoeing his way through the field right now.
But you also saw someone peering in the screen there. There you see Joshua Michaels, that black car, not too far behind. I believe it's a Honda Accord.
Yes,
if
it
I'm
is.
correct
Trouble
there.
up ahead.
Yep, that
And
is a
there's
Honda
still
Accord.
some messing. There's still
Problems.
quite a mess there. Lamas,
Trent Dunham
Hartnett,
with damage.
one of Trent Dunham. They're all in trouble here, and looks like they're all just so much lap traffic in the way. Poteet down the apron there, and Batson's still holding on to that lead, but it's just going to be tough getting around these lap cars and just traffic itself with Eldora with such a massive dirt cloud in the way.
I know. I mean, look up ahead. You've got double Y between Richardson and Dunham. You've got Hartnett and Lamas boxing and Batson. Ooh, that could have been bad.
I was just about to say, Keith Batson, despite being out front, can't like where he's at right now when he's surrounded by all these cars. I mean, anything can happen to him. We about
Oh,
saw it there.
speaking
Just
of
like
which, gets wrecked there by, I think, Caleb Farrell, and that moved Joshua Michaels to the race lead. So now Michaels has to deal with all the traffic up ahead of him. And to your point, DJ, yeah, Joshua Michaels in that Honda Accord. As a matter of fact, Joshua Michaels' last win in the Hersheys Cup Series came last year, believe it or not, at a dirt track at Oswego.
That's quite interesting. That's an interesting fact. There's some good statistics on his dirt track experience here. So maybe this could kick into play, maybe be a bit of a benefit here. And with a win, this could help him quite a lot in the point standings. You could move up dramatically in points when you win a race.
No doubt about that. Keith Batson, nice recovery there. He got wrecked by Caleb Farrell, but he's still in second. Might not hang on to that spot for long. Here comes Cole Baker in the 18. Of course, Cole Baker picking up his first win a few weeks ago at Atlanta since season 3, and having a good run right now. And then you got Alex Drayden, the rookie, and then Kyle Matthews, hometown boy, running in the 5th position.
It looks like Dylan Young just passed Chris Dodd for that 6th spot there, so Dylan Young trying to get a bit onto the charge there. Dodd quietly running in that 7th spot. Talking about much about Brooke Allen, and she's, I believe I might be wrong there, but quiet there for this car number 3 there, Jessica Shelton. We mentioned her in the LCQ and other heats earlier before, and also Fitzwater, quiet run for him. Normally we see him as the road course ringer in common leagues there, but he's doing a solid job in the 10th spot.
You know, this is a huge thing for Fitzwater as well, too. Not only just barely getting in the LCQ, but remember, we said the top 3 in points did not make the main event. Brandon Gonzalez, Kat Tellier, and John Arndt. The guy who came in 4th in the standings was Zachary Fitzwater, so he could very well be taking the points lead heading into next week's race at Talladega.
Something happened here in the back. Saw a lot of damage on the front of Emmanuel Hartnett's car. He may have brought it to pit road after that, so don't know what happened.
Looks
there.
like.
Is Cody Lamas and Keith Batson getting close.
At 48 and 39 have been racing each other quite a bit these last couple of laps, and I think before Keith Batson ended up getting spun by Caleb Farrell, I think Cody and Keith were actually side-by-side battling as well. But this is the battle for second. This is not the battle for the lead. Joshua Michaels has opened over a 5-second gap between himself and the 39 car, but right now Keith Batson, I think, focusing more on his rearview mirror than he is his windshield, because he's got Cole Baker breathing down his neck.
Yeah, you see him trying to get around that one there. Yep.
And, okay, thought he was going to slide up into Trent there, but a nice job of getting by now. He
That
goes to
was
the
rather
inside
close,
of
wasn't it?
Lamas.
And we just had a change for 10th place. Daniel Gilbert has just now cracked the top 10 in the 4 car. Mentioned Brooke Allen having a good run there for Michael Norman Motorsports. So 2 of the M&M cars now in the top 10. Oh, got
And
car
looks
on
like
the
Walters had
apron.
an issue
Walsh.
there down the bottom of the racetrack there, so we might have looked at later, but
Did you just call him Waltrip?
Trying to get around the rookie of Alex Drayton there. Got a little bit of contact out of two, saved it. And there you see Dylan Young peering into the picture, as well as Brooke Allen. So we got a 4-car battle here. Or the 4th spot.
Oh,
Matthew slide
careful.
job for 77, puts him in the wall. And just like that, he's up to 4th.
I want to go back and watch this video afterwards and find out if indeed my ears heard correctly. I think DJ called the 15 Waltrip, but I'm not certain. Oh, look at this. Brooke Allen, rookie last season. Alex Drayden, rookie this season. Close quarter racing there, but they keep it together. This is some good battling going on here, because this time...
Right there
Oh, go ahead.
you mentioned the 09 right there in 4th. I'm not trying to brag on myself or anything, but you know that he is a former winner at Eldora Speedway back in the defunct Oreo Truck Series, so a little bit of experience there, so that might come in handy.
No doubt about that. And, you know, people probably wondering why there's so much battling going on now. Well, points are on the line now, so every position counts. We are just about to reach the halfway point of this race, and Joshua Michaels enjoying a pretty sizable lead. The gap has closed down, though. He had about 5 seconds in hand over Keith Batson. It's now been cut down by about 1.5 seconds down to about 3.3. So slowly but surely, Batson and Baker are starting to catch, and I gotta think that's because Michaels is starting to encounter some traffic.
I was just about to say, I mean, that they're starting to close, like you said, they're starting to close in on Michaels. Do they want to race each other for second or try to catch him? Well, that answers my question.
Well, if you're Cole Baker, you've already got a win this season at Atlanta, so any win you pick up after this is a luxury.
Might
And
have been retaliation there.
yeah, it could have very well been. I mean, Keith Batson not going to allow Baker to squeeze up in front of him. Baker tried to take the real estate, but Batson was there.
He shoved him in the wall for turn 2, pretty much the whole back straightaway, so I think Batson wasn't too fond of that, and turn the 18 there gave him some assistance out of turn 4. But really, pretty much Joshua Michaels has held a quiet race. He's been on his own little island there. You see the gap of 3 seconds. It's pretty solid. But car number 10, the Samurai Jack Honda Accord, looking very strong here today, as we have already reached past the halfway point of the race there.
You saw right there Fitzwater moving by Kyle Matthews. That would have been for 4th, but they both passed the spinning Baker car, and there's James Richardson, and Batson's going to get involved. Was running in second.
Man, tough break right there, up and down race so far for Keith Batson, and he's still
more trouble!
After that, we haven't
That's the 55.
And Dylan Young, Daniel Gilbert,
That
5th and 6th got involved.
The racetrack there. Look at the amount of damage he has already. It's certainly not going to help his case. Chris Dunn are fired up. He obviously did, and now he's back on the charge there.
Oh,
goodness.
Brooke Allen, Sean Galligan.
And this is almost looking like shades of our 4th heat race, where the top 10 looked very different at the end with like the final 2 laps. I mean, we ended up having Keith Batson drop back to about 9th. He's now back up to 7th. Chris Dodd is up to 6th. I think Dylan Young running right there. I think he was scored 5th last time by. He'll be out of the top 10s. Looks like he's coming to pit road. So all of a sudden, the top 10 taking on a very different look. Alex Drayden, Jessica Shelton, they've just jumped up into the top 10 according to the scoring monitor.
Yeah, but look who's in second. Zachary Fitzwater's been avoiding all the attrition rate. That attrition rate has definitely gone up.
Oh,
and
contact
between
Galligan.
And will he get hit? Yes, he
Oh,
does. He gets
Chris
hit.
Dodd.
Chris Dodd, that was a hard hit for both the 9 and
A lot of
the
rear end
88.
damage.
And it looks like the 2-time winner, I think that car is smoking. I think Chris Dodd may have his night be coming to an end. He's got 2 wins in the bank, so that's at least good for him. Oh, look at this. The battle's back on between Batson and Baker.
You may have a new rivalry after this race. I mean, these two can't get away from one another.
And DJ, you mentioned Fitzwater there in second. He finished second already this season at Atlanta to Cole Baker, so obviously he doesn't want to be a bridesmaid once again.
He hasn't won a race, has he?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't won a race this season. Last win was Homestead, Miami last season.
That's quite interesting there. I think Fitzwater, that Australian, is going to be very hungry for a victory, especially at a dirt track. Usually, normally not his specialty. So this is going to be quite a fun one to see if that 59 can catch car number 10 there. But Joshua Michaels, like I said, has been the dominant car and the car to beat so far.
He is closing. The only problem is, though, that 3-car of Brooke Allen is between him and Michael. So he's going to have to get around Brooke before he can deal with the race leader. The other thing that's also not on Fitzwater's side is time, because this time by, I believe we're going to have 15 laps to go. So, you know, every lap that ticks away is one less lap that Fitzwater has the opportunity to battle Michaels for the race lead. So we got to see just how quickly Fitzwater can get around the 3. He's going to try right now. Looks like he might make the pass there into turn 3.
Once that 3 hits the wall, I think Fitzwater
Oh,
might be
no.
set, but Allen doesn't
no.
really do that, and they collide, and Fitzwater is onto it, saves it, but then
And now gets
slammed
nailed by
Cody.
Cody. And that was second place. So now who jumps to second? I think it's going to be the 18. Yeah, Baker just went around to the outside, so now Baker goes to second, and that just really helped Joshua Michaels. So Cole Baker moving into second place. But right now, I mean, with the fact that Fitzwater spun out and he was the one that was closing the gap on Michaels, I think unless something happens to the 10, I think that this could be Joshua Michaels' race to lose.
He's
Yeah,
done
I
a
think
nice
Chuck's
job
one
at
bad.
He's done a nice job at dodging all the bullets so far.
He's a samurai. Of course he dodged.
Yeah, we couldn't dodge Aku's like reign of terror by getting sent back into the past or the future.
Or the present. Got car to deal with here in James McLeod. We'll have to see if maybe McLeod will hold up the 10 car, but I think from what we saw, Baker and Fitzwater in second and third have their own traffic to deal with, and we got trouble! That's Kyle Matthews and Leon Albertson. That was right in front of the leader, Michaels, who I think just got past.
That's just fine.
Wow! And there's Baker. Oh, yeah, there's like, what, 4 or 5 cars between him and the race leader, and he's got Fitzwater on his back bumper for second. So, yeah, right now, make that Michaels. I think he's home free unless we end up having something random happen like just nearly happened there out of turn 4.
Yeah, he's only got 9 laps to really hold him off here. He's got a 7-second gap for crying out loud. So I think, yeah, like you said, Seth, if he just holds on for dear life, just avoids all the attrition in front of him, all the carnage, I think he should be set for a victory here today with 8 laps to go.
It's got to be the longest 8 laps that he'll ever endure the way things are going on here.
Well, not only that, but I think as well Joshua Michaels may very well have cleared any traffic. He might have some pretty clean racetrack in front of him. Daniel Gilbert up to 4th. Kev Shearer again looks like he may get rookie of the race. He has been on a tear of good finishes lately. Has that 34 car as he's currently in the top 5.
Yes, indeed. That's a really impressive run for the rookie here. Kev Shearer looking to impress again. Joshua Michaels just really letting the 3 go, looks like.
That was
Brooke
very
Allen.
Smart. Very
So,
smart.
I think that's a good classy move there. I think he knows he's only got a couple laps left, so he needs to make no mistakes here. Just take it nice and easy.
I mean,
he's got a big gap.
Absolutely. Why not? Not only a big gap back to second place Baker, but pretty big gap back to the first car that's behind him, the first lap car. So, you know, play with the throttle a little. Run a little bit slower lap times. You don't have to really be full throttle and try
Waste your
increasing
tires.
your gap. Exactly. You've got over a 6-second gap. Why do you need to increase it? Up in the
Just
wall
gotta
there,
be
though.
smart here, hit your marks, and he'll be home free. He's done a nice job of that so far, and he's got about three laps to go here. And these laps go by pretty quickly. I'd say about 14, 15 seconds a lap, so that they get around this place really quickly.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. And that's one thing that is not on the side of Baker or Fitzwater. That is time, because as you said, you get around this track very quickly. 3 laps to go for the 10 car, trying to get Honda its 3rd win in Hersheys Cup Series competition. He had a win last season, as we mentioned, at Oswego in Season 4. He also had a win back in Season 3. I'm trying to remember what track it was at. I want to say it was Homestead, Miami, actually.
That might have been the case there. It's funny enough, though, because these Honda engines are a lot more reliable than those in the F1 cars, so Joshua Michaels really putting on a show here for the fans, really just dominating this race so far here. Coming into turns number 3 and 4, Joshua Michaels, driving car number 10, will be taking us to the white flag here. 1 more lap to go here at Eldora.
Just got to tiptoe around the racetrack, and there's no doubt it looks like he is definitely going to be picking up that victory.
Been an impressive, dominating performance. I didn't expect to see this out of anybody the way, all the carnage we've seen tonight, but Joshua Michaels has done this perfectly.
He started on the outside of the front row. He will finish P1 here tonight, winning the Mud Summer Classic at Eldora, his 4th career win, 2nd career win in the Hersheys Cup Series at a dirt track.
He sure knows how to get it done on dirt and proved it again tonight.
Spectacular run for Joshua Michaels. Literally the car to beat all day here, led pretty much, I believe, almost the entire race from what I recollect there. Joshua Michaels very strong on the radar, maybe even a threat here to see. We'll have to wait and see what Joshua Michaels can do in the future here. Like you mentioned, his 4th career win. What a run for Joshua Michaels here. The dominant car today definitely deserved to win this one here today at Eldora. And we have a shot Cole Baker 2nd there, Fitzwater 3rd. Then you got Gilbert 4th, and Kev Shearer, rookie of the race, will get 5th. So, yep, another rookie of the race there, Seth.
Absolutely. And, you know, another thing I just noticed, too, you mentioned, is Joshua Michaels going to be a possible contender for that championship, making the chase? Keep in mind, his other 3 wins, He won at Pocono in Season 1, wasn't high enough in the point stands to make the chase for the championship. Season 3, he won at Auto Club. Last season, he won at Oswego. Those were 2 races during the chase, so he never had the opportunity to make it into the chase for the championship. This could be the first season Joshua Michaels will make his debut in the chase for the Hersheys Cup Series championship.
Indeed so.
You look on down
Boy,
through
that's
the
gotta be
finishing
that's gotta
results
be so
there.
That's got to be so frustrating for Joshua Michaels over the last couple of seasons, like you just mentioned, be able to win races, but not being able to win the race for a championship. Looks like all that's finally going to pay off for him this season.
And Kyle, I think you should fire your clone. He got disqualified in 18th position.
He either got disqualified or he got Dairy Queen. I don't know. I'm hoping for the latter. But
If it's the latter, will he share with
Queen,
us?
Honestly, probably decided like, okay, I'm like 5 million left down. Might as well just park the car for a bit and just get some Dairy Queen, and then a couple of rookies finishing well. Like I said, like you mentioned, Kev Shear, rookie of the racer. I mentioned, I guess, and then Drayton P7 for car number 77. Good run for them. A lot of rookies kind of putting on good solid efforts here. Caleb Farrell 11th, and then you also got Quentin Moore in 15th or 14th, excuse me, not 15th.
So you got Jessica Shelton, Brooke Allen, and Sean Galligan rounding out the top 10. There didn't talk a whole lot about either of those 3, but they were able to stay out of trouble for the most part and come out here with a top 10 finish. A good run for all those 3 drivers.
And also, Cole Baker, great run there, following up his win a couple weeks ago at Atlanta. And also Zachary Fitzwater, he didn't win, but he was 4th in the point stands coming to this race. He finishes on the podium, and the 3 drivers he was chasing down in the point stands, Kat Tellier, Brandon Gonzalez, and John Art, we saw they all failed to make the main event, so it looks like with that good finish, Zachary Fitzwater will be taking the points lead over into next week's race at Talladega Superspeedway. So definitely not a win, but a good points day for the 59 car.
Yeah, it looked like certain points at this race looked like Zachary Fitzwater could actually be the one to actually get by Joshua Michaels, but he ran into problems late. We saw Keith Batson have a strong run early on, and he was running up in the top 5 for a lot of this thing, and he ran into problems as well. So Joshua Michaels, despite dominating this race, he had some challenges, but they all ran into problems, and Joshua Michaels did a nice job of avoiding all of that.
Yeah, I think Joshua Michaels definitely proved he had a strong car all night long. He ended up winning the first heat race, which locked him into this main event. Started on the front row outside of Keith Batson, and then, as you said, almost practically dominated this race here tonight. But that is going to do it here from Eldora here in the Mud Summer Classic. DJ, Kyle, I want to thank you guys for joining me here for this event.
Oh, it's been quite an honor to be with you, Seth. It's really fun to be in the booth with some other people and friends of mine there. So, yeah, thank you for inviting me over. This was a fun race to watch. Quite a wreck fest, but, that's the nature of Eldora here. A lot of dirt track racing, beating and banging all over the racetrack.
I second what he just said there. This was a fun race to watch. A lot of carnage, but that's to be expected. And these guys put on a great show. It's fun to call.
All right, well, hope you guys all enjoyed watching this race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Also, subscribe to these guys. I'll put the link to their channels in the description. You're now looking at your rookie points and your overall points heading to next week. All 3 series head to the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway as we continue to get closer to All-Star Race Weekend. But until that time, I'm Seth Cole signing off, and we will see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.